And good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, and you're watching live severe weather coverage on Dr. Don's Weather. We welcome those of you listening this evening via radio on WFAZ, God's Country 90.9, WJHO 89.7, The Classic, and our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and DrDonWX.com. We're going to talk about the possibility of some severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. A surface low will begin developing to our west over Oklahoma tomorrow, and that will begin to push off to the east and to the northeast throughout the day tomorrow. For most of the morning tomorrow will remain dry, but dew points will steadily rise. The surface low will quickly eject toward the Ohio Valley throughout the day, and the associated cold front will move into the lower Mississippi Valley by early afternoon. Most notable will be the strong air motion that will accompany this system. A 60 to 70 knot low-level jet will enter northwest Alabama late tomorrow morning as a broken line of multicellular thunderstorms begins to organize and taking shape over western Mississippi. Now, some prefrontal showers and thunderstorms may develop across western Alabama, and we could even see a few across east Alabama throughout the day. But we expect this to be minimal as there will still be some dry air aloft and better forcing will be off to our west. Now, all of this means that we'll spend most of the morning destabilizing. Overall, instability appears to be marginal and limited, but models may be underdoing the temperatures for tomorrow as they did today. Therefore, the focus leans on the warmer side, in which temperatures in the low to mid 70s with dew points in the mid to upper 60s may result in more unstable air or a corridor of 50 to 800 joules of CAPE, which is instability, across West Alabama by early afternoon tomorrow. Now, there's no question that wind profiles will be favorable for severe storms. There will likely be rotating cells, and there is the possibility that models, again, are underdoing the instability if warmer temperatures are realized tomorrow. Nonetheless, the threat remains the same. Damaging straight-line winds will be the primary threat, with an accompanying risk of tornadoes, the latter of which becomes more likely if temperatures do indeed trend warmer tomorrow. Hail is less likely, but a more robust updraft may be just enough to produce hail up to 1/4 inch in size in isolated instances. Now, the highest threat area will be across western Alabama, where an enhanced risk of severe weather has been defined, and this threat will diminish with eastward extent as the better dynamics quickly lifts to the north away from the area. The instability will wane as we get into the afternoon and the overnight hours. But could there be just enough instability left to cause some severe storms across East Alabama? We think that the answer to that question is yes. Additionally, and I think this may end up being part of the big story here, there will be strong non-convective winds throughout the day tomorrow. The winds will be largely associated with the strong low-level jet, which may mix to the surface at times, and an amplified pressure gradient is also going to keep us in the squeeze play all day long, caught between that high pressure and that low pressure. The wind advisory will go into effect at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning and run through midnight tomorrow night. Typically, we will expect wind gusts of 30 to 45 miles per hour possible. These wind gusts will be enough to topple weak trees and cause some isolated power outages across Alabama tomorrow. So be prepared for the possibility of some scattered power outages. Now, what you're looking at on the screen right now is the Namm simulated radar, and these are the thunderstorms that we will expect to move through East Alabama between 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and 1, 2, or 3 a.m. on Friday morning. This is going to be a late afternoon and through the overnight hour type system. And as you can see, the storm does slowly weaken as it moves off to the southeast tomorrow. Understand, this is a model. This is a computer model. So as I just said in that opening statement, if the models are underdoing the temperature tomorrow, then these storms could certainly end up being stronger than they're showing here on the radar. So there are a couple of other products I want us to take a look at. We're going to go back up and look at the amount of instability that's going to be available across East Alabama and West Georgia as we get this event underway. Now, this is the Convective Available Potential Energy, or the acronym for that is called CAPE. And this loop that you're looking at starts at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening and runs through 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. The highest CAPE we see is over in eastern Mississippi and into West Alabama. You can see that the CAPE certainly weakens as it gets into East Alabama. As a matter of fact, I think the highest CAPE values we see across East Alabama is around 250 or 350 joules. Now, you really got to get up there to 1,000 or better to really have a large risk of severe weather. And we see some of those 1,000 CAPE joules of CAPE across West Alabama into Central Alabama. Then that starts to drop off as it gets into East Alabama. So the next thing I want to do is show you the highest CAPE values across East Alabama. And so we're still looping there. So let's go to the storm. Yeah, let's go to the next one. This is the significant tornado parameter. Now, this is the STP between about 8 o'clock tomorrow night and 3 a.m. Friday morning. And you can see it's relatively low. Across East Alabama, we're looking at about a 0.5. You really got to get up there around a 4. Before you start seeing a significant risk of a strong tornado. That's not to say we couldn't have a quick spin up. We certainly could. But as far as a long track, violent tornado, the models are not giving us much of a chance of seeing that across East Alabama. So that's good news as we get into tomorrow's event. So the two main things we look at are the CAPE values and the STP, and both of them are showing weak values across East Alabama. Not to say that we can't have a severe storm or a quick spin-up tornado. We certainly could, but the chances of seeing anything like that across East Alabama and West Georgia are much less than what we will see back over Mississippi, West Alabama, up into West Tennessee and Central Tennessee tomorrow. So now I want to take you over here and show you what I think is really going to end up being an overall concentrated issue, and that's going to be the wind. And these are our winds for tomorrow. This is the 10-meter wind, about 33 feet above the surface, from about 7 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 11 p.m. tomorrow night. And you can see that we're getting some wind gusts. These are wind gusts now, not sustained winds. But you can see right there across East Alabama, the wind really kicks in at about 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and we're looking at wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour across some areas of East Alabama and West Georgia. So, folks, that's going to cause some problems with trees and power lines. So be prepared for the possibility of some scattered power outages throughout the afternoon and into the overnight hours tomorrow evening across East Alabama and West Georgia. Also, make sure that those outdoor items that you have outside, like your patio furniture, your umbrella that's out there on the back deck, that trampoline that you got for Christmas, make sure all of that stuff is secured real good, because even away from thunderstorms, the wind is going to be howling tomorrow, and it's just going to be increasing throughout the day. And by the time the sun goes down, we're going to get in the height of it, and that's going to last for several hours. And then you throw a strong thunderstorm in there on top of it, and you can see that we could have some really big problems with the wind tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. So then the other thing I want to show you is the total rainfall. Earlier this week, we thought this may end up being a flood problem, but now not so much. We're thinking probably between a ½ inch and 1.5 inches will be common across East Alabama and West Georgia once this thunderstorm event is done and over with. So now let's go back over to the Convective Outlook, and I want to show you a couple of products here. This is the Storm Prediction Center Convective Outlook for Thursday. We do have a slight risk over into central Alabama. We actually have an enhanced risk across west Alabama. That stretches up into Tennessee. Let me just go ahead and take you to the Birmingham graphic, and there we go. We have that enhanced risk from about Birmingham down to Demopolis, to the west, back into Mississippi, and to the northwest, up to around Memphis. And then across central Alabama, we have a slight risk of severe weather, and that runs from Birmingham down to Demopolis and to the southeast, down to around Selma, back up to Anniston. And then from Anniston to Selma to the southeast, we have a marginal risk of severe weather, and that covers most of East Alabama, including places like Ashland, Lineville, Wedowee, Roanoke, Alexander City, Lafayette, Auburn, Opelika, and then over into West Georgia, Carrollton, Franklin, LaGrange, and down into the Columbus area. Timing is on the right side of the screen there. We're talking about maybe the extreme western side of our coverage area by about 6 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Most of East Alabama and West Georgia, the severe possibilities will ramp up around 7 p.m. tomorrow evening and continue through about midnight, maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Eastern over in West Georgia. So that's kind of what we're looking at tomorrow. I don't think this is going to be a red letter severe weather event for East Alabama or West Georgia. I think that the better chances of severe weather will certainly be across Mississippi and West Alabama. However, we cannot rule out the possibility of a strong to severe thunderstorm from time to time tomorrow across East Alabama and West Georgia. And then the wind. The wind is just going to be a problem all day long tomorrow. So make sure that you take the precautionary measures to protect that stuff outside and be prepared for the possibility of some scattered power outages tomorrow across the area. For those of you listening to us on radio, we'll have the brand new weather forecast out for you first thing tomorrow morning here on God's Country and the Classic. And we'll be watching this for you throughout the day. We'll have live updates as we get into the afternoon, and certainly wall-to-wall coverage if conditions become necessary throughout this event tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night right here on God's Country and the Classic. We're going to pause just for a few seconds and let our radio stations go back to regular programming, and then I'll be back to answer any questions you may have in the chat room. You're watching live severe weather coverage on Dr. Don's Weather. Good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Those of you watching us still on social media, here's the most my favorite part of this program, where I get to answer your questions if you have any. And welcome those of you who are chatting in the chat room. We appreciate all you folks that are watching. Got folks up there in Tin Shop watching us this evening. Also, Patricia's watching us in Newell. Connie is watching us this evening. Beverly Pike over in Rock Mills. Miss Beverly, we appreciate you. Danny Nelson watching us from Ashland. Mickey Norad is in Roxton. We've got Randall in Ashland. Agnes is watching us from Roanoke. Ross is in Lafayette. Julie is watching us from Tanner at East Alabama. Deborah watching us from Wedowee. There's Michael down in Warner Robins, Georgia. And Carol, hello, my friend. Nice to have you in here this evening. Kelly Ann's watching us from Roanoke. Clay County's in the house. Valley, Alabama. There's Faye. Jack is watching us at the house in Wedowee. Sharon's down in Alexander City. Melissa watching us in Rock Mills. Tamika is watching us this evening, as well as Shirley in Graham, Alabama. And Judith Pike is watching us also, as well as Tammy. Tammy's up in Woodland. Springfield community, there's Lori Nelson. Rita's watching us in Millerville, excuse me. Rita, you're welcome. And let's see here. Michael is watching us in Rome, Georgia, over northwest Georgia. Nice to have you with us as well, Michael. Valerie is watching us in Lynette, as well as David Martin. A lot of folks down there in East Alabama. I know we got a big basketball game on tonight. Auburn just tipped off just a few moments ago, so we're not going to stay in here a tremendous length of time this evening. I just wanted to jump in here and let you guys know that we do have a risk of severe weather on Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Make sure you know your severe weather plan. Know where you're supposed to go when you're home and your place of business in the event that severe weather threatens your location. Of course, it's always the lowest floor, the center of your home or place of business. A hallway, a closet, bathrooms are always good. Make sure that when you evacuate to that area that you carry something to cover and protect you, such as a pillow, a blanket, a mattress off of a baby bed, a futon, a cushion off of the couch, blankets, pillows. If you have bicycle helmets, football helmets, those are all. If your kids, have skateboards and they have helmets, knee pads, all those things. Carry that stuff into your safe area with you because they can help protect you. Make sure you have on hard-soled shoes. Make sure you keep your phone charged up, flashlight, all of these things, and something that can make a real loud noise. In the event you get trapped in your home, it's a great idea to have a whistle or something that makes a loud noise so that rescuers can find you in the event that you become trapped under debris. So, these are just good things to know and think about and have a plan. Make sure that the rest of your family know exactly where you're going to evacuate to. So that when that time comes, all you have to do is say evacuate, and everybody knows exactly where to go instead of trying to figure it out when you've only got seconds to get there. And if you live in a mobile home, folks, I have lived in many mobile homes in my time, and they're beautiful. I love them. I enjoy living in a mobile home. But, folks, they're just not capable of withstanding tornado-force winds. And those trees that will fall down and across those mobile homes. So you have to have an alternative place to go during times of severe weather if you live in a mobile home. It can be a friend or a neighbor or a family member that lives across the street, across the neighborhood, or across town. Now, you have to think about that and prearrange that location, figure out how you're going to get there, and all of that, the distance away from where you normally live will determine at what point you need to evacuate to that alternate structure during times of severe weather. If you got to go all the way across town, it takes 20 minutes to get there, then you probably ought to go once a tornado watch is issued. If you are going to go right across the street to a friend or neighbor, and all you got to do is run out the front door across the street and you're there, then you can probably wait until that line of thunderstorms gets awfully close to you before you go over there. So think about these things. Make plans. Now's the time to make that plan. Don't wait until we have a severe weather event unfolding and then start wondering, where am I going to go if a tornado warning is issued for my location? It's too late then. So make those plans now and be prepared. And, of course, I'm going to throw this in there. Make sure you own a Noaa weather radio. You can get them at all of your big box stores. You can get them online. They're relatively inexpensive. You put a battery in them. They're easy to program. And then you'll have multiple ways of receiving severe weather information in the event that severe weather strikes your particular location. Again, thanks to all you folks who have tuned in tonight. We will be here with live coverage tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night if conditions warrant. And we'll be back with that for you. If you're just joining us, we do anticipate a severe weather event across East Alabama and West Georgia, across the southeastern United States tomorrow, though I think it's going to be a weakening line of thunderstorms as it moves into East Alabama and West Georgia after about 5 or 6 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, but there may still be enough instability left to give us a strong to marginally severe storm, and a quick spin-up tornado certainly cannot be ruled out late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. I still think, though, the bigger issue is going to be the wind. That's going to happen regardless of whether or not we have severe weather. That's a done deal, and the wind advisory goes in effect at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, runs all the way to midnight tomorrow night. Winds gusting 10, 15, 20 miles per hour, occasionally as high as 45 miles per hour late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. That is non-thunderstorm wind. It's going to happen, and that could cause some power outages. So make sure you have a plan in the event that your power fails tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with your primetime forecast. We'll give you the latest thinking from the National Weather Service, and then we'll be here tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night with live severe weather coverage on Dr. Don's Weather. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, War Eagle, and I'll see you back in here tomorrow morning. Bye now.